chain. I don't think we
No.
always left it open enough for a wheelchair.
Yeah. I think you're good, Steve.
All set? All right. Welcome to the Litchfield Recreation Commission meeting. Tonight is Tuesday, October 12th, 2021. 7:30 p.m. We are meeting here in Talent Hall. So the first thing we'll do is a roll call. So Andy Ruggles, Vice Chair.
Present.
Chris Burns, Member.
Present.
Peter Ames, Secretary.
Present.
Mike Bosky, Member.
Present.
Mr. Stephen Weber, Selectman's Rep.
Present.
My name is Steve Gannon. I am the chairman. Tonight, absent with notification is member Andy Collins and Judy Brennan and Jeff Town, who are both alternates, will not be here tonight. Judy may be a little late. All right. Consideration of previous minutes meeting of previous meetings. I do not see one this week, so we will skip this.
You sent them out like I think right after the meeting, right?
Yeah.
Did he? He sent them out? I thought he
It's
sent
the next day after our last meeting.
Yeah.
The 29th is when I have it
Yeah.
from.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he did send it to us, but I thought he wanted us to change it. All right, so let's do a consideration of the meeting minutes for September 28th, 2021.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or corrections?
One correction, but people can tell me if I don't recall this right. Under item 6, town hall capacity, that he has in there kind of two motions. I don't recall the one. Jeff made a motion
Item 6.
that was not seconded, I guess, but I thought there was only one with the 4-3 vote.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he motioned that. Like, I don't think that first motion was actually made, was it?
But yeah, I thought it kind of led into the discussion, which eventually ended up as
Right.
the other motion.
because didn't we open up to 130? Did that not go through as a motion?
It did. If you look further down, it's there, and all that's good and correct. I just didn't recall a first motion that didn't get seconded. So it looks like one motion was to stick with the public health guidelines. The other one was to increase the capacity.
Gotcha.
And we ended up only we kind of moved on both of them. Well, there was no guideline other than the sanitation portion of it having supplies ready. And then we increased the capacity, I believe.
So I guess I would move to strike the portion of the minutes under item 6, town hall capacity, where the first discussion, motion, vote, to strike those 3 items, but retain the rest of the discussion and then the subsequent motion on the capacity limit.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, because we did vote on the capacity at the end of it. Gotcha.
I also believe under the LBA field usage, I think you stated 2021 when it should have been 2022, the January 9th date. Yep. Mr. Sullivan actually pointed that out, I think, when he sent it to us.
All right. Any other comments or corrections? So the motion is to accept the meeting minutes amended, accept the September 28th, 2021 meeting minutes with the amendment of 6A Talent Hall capacity. Strike that. Leave it as the 4-3-0 vote and correct LBA to January 2021 to January 2022. All right, we have a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays and abstained, 700. All right.
6-0.
6.
Jesus. 600. All right. Who's good at math here? Because I'm not. I can't even count to 6. Tell I'm scrambling. I just got out of work and pretty much headed right here. Public input. There is no one here in the building today, and we did not set up a WebEx. That's something we have to consider going forward. There'll be no public input at this point. I did not see any facilities and field requests. Did anybody else? Nothing.
No.
Shocking after the last meeting.
I know.
I don't know.
We had plenty of them last time.
New business. We have the RFP, AED, and the budget. Do you want me to go over the other two and then we'll go into RFP?
Sure.
All right, really quick. So Jeff Town and I were at Town Hall and we looked at the AED defibrillation unit in the back and noticed that the battery was dead and the thing was dead. So we requested to have fire department take a look at it. They came back and told us that yes, the battery is dead. The battery pack would be about $400 or so to replace. The unit is over 6 years old. They typically have a life cycle about 10 years. So they said a new one will be about $800 to $1,000 to replace.
I thought we did that last year.
18 months ago, I sent them down there. It was about 18. I went back and looked. It was about 18 months ago. They went down. They put a new battery in it. They got the whole thing up and running. And it was supposed to be part of their maintenance program when they do all of them in town.
Yep.
They were supposed to go through and add it as part of that. They being the fire department.
Right. They did not.
So they must have missed it during the whole COVID when nobody was in there. But we did have it about 18 months ago. We had it all outfitted with the new battery because when it was all said and done, I think we spent about $600 on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember it being discussed, but I don't remember what the outcome was.
Yeah, I reached out to the fire chief. He sent Paul Kelly down there, and he went completely through the unit for us.
So the battery should not be dead at this point in time.
18 months, I wouldn't think wouldn't be dead, but and the intent was to be on their service program, and they did say it was getting old. So next time they were going to order some, they were going to get a new one for it.
Within 18 months?
Just I don't know. We can go back and look at it. I
Alright.
think it's about 18 months ago.
Yeah, I do remember.
Long ago.
It wasn't that long because I remember.
It was before COVID because it was right before all the winter activities started in town. We wanted to make sure that it was up and running because it hadn't been maintained in so long.
All right, so I'll reach out to him to find out what the story is. I didn't realize that we spent $600 to
Yeah.
retrofit at that point.
You might want to reach out to Karen also because she probably can find the bill. I'll keep searching my email to see if I can find it, but you know how Google embeds everything and it's so tough to search.
Yeah, because if the battery was replaced 18 months ago, then it should be warranted.
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. I'm glad I brought it up because if not a new unit, it's at 800 to 1,000. If it was more than 18 months or whatever, or the unit's 10 years old, then I would request that we move forward and replace it.
And all the units in a town do get registered with the fire department. So if they ever have to have an issue, they can call someone who's close by. I know a lot of office buildings, everybody has to report them.
But yeah, I thought that was on the rotation.
Mhm.
Perfect. I'll reach out to Karen. And the other one was budget. Just a quick overview. Met with the budget commission on last week. Everything looks good. Everything's pretty much status quo moving forward. The one thing that was cut was our line 730 capital improvement, capital outlay was dollared out. So it was 3,500. So next year it'll be for $1. Typically, this is used, or what we have used it for this year is the playground equipment and the swing sets. So next year we will not have a budget item for that.
They were striking that.
They leave it at $1 to keep the line active.
I don't know what else, if we had anything else that we needed to do as far as capital goes.
Get on tell and put a new one up. Oh, I mean.
Yeah. You want more than 3,500.
I feel like we used that quite a bit. that's one item that we actually end up because stuff breaks and
There's a maintenance one. in there
so
also,
we're going to
yeah.
use that instead. So is the money getting transferred to that?
So if something breaks, we'll get it from there. But this is new stuff like the new swings that I ordered.
Yep.
That will come out of that line item. And then if there's something that we want to do, maybe put a new slide or something new, that's typically what it's used for.
I'd like to see the door access upgraded there.
Yeah,
That's a big problem right now.
I'm going to speak with the Board of Selectmen and Budget Commission about using some of the ARPA funds to do things like replace all the faucets with touchless and, basic sanitization, go touchless as much as possible. And we have ARPA funds that'll do that. So that'll help. But yeah, I think the door we might be able to do under maintenance. But yeah, that definitely needs the code, the cable that you can get for it plugs into an RS-232 port. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you have one hanging around,
Nope.
but I don't.
Nope.
All right. Any other discussions on that? Moving forward, RFP, Mr. Andy Ruggles.
Yeah, so I just kind of went through it and made a couple changes. I know we had talked about instead of doing an RFP this year, we were going to actually go out and solicit, but we can use this as our guideline to what we need people to bid on. I don't know if everybody got it today.
Mhm.
Basically, the only major changes. I didn't really change anything on the maintenance objective for the on proposal number 1. Essentially, I just changed the dates to reflect current year.
There is a date that needs to be changed.
Yeah,
Recreation
I saw
Field
that
Moon,
too.
Which
December-
one?
December 4th, 2020.
Yeah.
At the top, just a date. That's minor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
By noon on
you
December.
say the public opening, the proposals is November 5th, 2021, but then below that, it says that the bids are due by
Judy.
noon on December 4th, 2020.
Gotcha. All right, I'll change that right now.
Have it split.
Yeah, I still have it split because I'm thinking a company that may do just manicured lawn sort of stuff could possibly be a separate company from somebody that does brush hogging and less, non-fertilized applications. So if you go to proposal number 2, that's where the major changes happen. You'll see, where are we? John Bryant River access stays the same. The sawmill complex, I added twice yearly. The perimeter of the field and the perimeter of the parking lot shall be brush hogged. And that's pretty much all of it, correct, Mike?
Yeah.
And the circle added the circle.
The circle, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
The Justin Bissett Memorial Complex, Jeff Lane, I've added that in. I said twice yearly, the perimeter of the parking lot should be brush hogged and brush hog along the perimeter of the chain link fence. Or the brush along the perimeter of the chain link fence should be trimmed back 5 feet so the brush will not grow into the fences. That was a big problem this year. Same thing with Innisfield. I said brush hog the edges of the entrance as you go in, along the fence on the easterly side of the field, and then a 5-foot perimeter from the maintained field area. Is that sufficient, Mike?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. And then corning, I said twice annually, the brush area between the closest field and the parking lot, and a 5-foot perimeter on the fences again.
I like it. Yep.
Actually, the one thing, that's the fence at Sawmill, the chain link that's by the retaining pond. If they can trim that once a year too.
Yeah.
Because that just starts, the weeds just start growing up it. So you can add that.
So,
All right. So our intention here is to break it into 2 where they could bid on the athletic field, and if it's irrigated and it's treated, it'll be cut to this expectation. And then all the perimeter areas where it's not irrigated, it's not treated, but we still need to maintain it.
We also have that area of Roy Memorial Park by the sign, the one that you and Jay were
Yep. And
packing. That one should be added too.
by the sign and around the backside of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was actually I actually just thought of that because, so at Dara, it's the expanded, so part of the maintenance of, it's under the first part where we're doing the piece around town, it's all being maintained as part of the field contract. Is that because of the irrigation or is that, yeah, okay,
Grass right in front of the hall.
right,
That is irrigation in it.
okay.
But then to the right of that, where the wood sign is,
Yep.
that all back there has got to be cut and around the backside of the building.
Okay, so I can
By
add
the
that.
septic and then along the backside where the dumpster sitting currently.
I wasn't sure there, so I will add that in.
Thanks.
So a couple small modifications, and we have to make a motion on this, right? We have to motion this? I don't think so.
I don't think we have in the past, have we?
No. So it was more just informal and feedback, informational.
Steve, do you know? Do we have to?
I don't think we have to.
All right, I like it. If you could edit as we requested, and then
I'll send it out one more time just to make sure everything's in there.
We got to give what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So it's got to be back at the 5th. So we have to have it out by.
Now, how are we going to choose the contractors that we?
So we have to publish it by the 22nd.
So we're publishing it in the paper and soliciting it.
No, but I think no matter what we do, we should at least give people 2 weeks to respond.
Come up with a proposal.
Is there a spot on the town page that lets us post RFPs?
So if you look at the purchasing policy, it basically says due to the dollar value of it, that we have to go out and put it in print, but there's nothing in print anymore.
Mm.
So usually the Board of Selectmen waive it, the means of going to do it, but we're also going outside of it and we're going to hand select people. So the purchasing policy already has to be waived. So I would just hand select people and then give them 2 weeks.
Okay.
Thanks for working on this, Andy. Looks good.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
yeah, putting it out to print nowadays is
There's no newspapers.
no newspapers.
So the Secretary of State really has to start looking at that because there's no real means to go do it.
Yeah, and I would think the only other way you're going to get someone interested or know is to solicit them and ask
Yep.
if they're interested in this.
Maybe we should post it on our site too,
Definitely, I think we should post on our site. We should do it on the town website, cross-share it,
right?
just to get it out there for people to see it. Because I think, remember last year, a lot of people were asking about it. We didn't get many bids, but a lot of people were
Right.
asking about it and how do they get it and what is it?
We'll try to reach at least say 6 companies,
I'd say at least, yeah.
and then this will be a quote back by
The 22nd.
22nd.
Well, we'll send it out by the 22nd. You
Send
want
it
it
by
back
the
on the
22nd.
7th.
Back.
7th, was it?
5th.
5th, that's what, 5th.
All right.
You're going to open them on the same day, it looks like.
Yeah.
So Friday, November 5th.
And then we'll open them that next meeting. Pick one.
But you have it opening on the same day.
Well,
You're going to open them, but then we'll discuss them at the next meeting.
discuss them. Yeah. I'll give them to everybody to look at.
That'll be election day. No, that'll be the first, no, it'll be the 9th, November 9th. Election day is the 2nd. Yeah.
Add dates to math.
You get an IT problem, I'll definitely fix that really fast.
So will we have a meeting that night? Because you've got it in here as the next time we're going to meet to discuss or to award it, I guess.
Do we have a meeting the 9th?
The 9th? Yeah.
I think we do. It's the second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday, yeah.
even took out a calendar today and looked at it and counted.
I was sitting in a meeting in an office today looking at the clock like, I thought it was later than this, and it's because it hasn't been changed in forever. So it was an hour late. The calendars are dating back for a year and a half. Like, step back in time. Okay. Thank you for that, Andy. Appreciate it. And I think that's all we had on the agenda. Oh, Colleen reached out and said that the booster night, trivia night on Friday is going to be canceled. Possibly rescheduled if they sell more tickets, but at this point in time, they are canceling it for Friday.
So if they reschedule, do they have to submit another request?
Yeah, because I don't know what's going to be going on with talent. I watched the Board of Selectmen meeting last night, and I know the veterans are interested in getting into town hall as well.
Yeah, the membership's growing.
We might actually have to start taking Wednesdays and handing it out for Boy Scouts, veterans.
Yep.
I don't know how often veterans meet though.
Usually be about once a month, but I think as they start ramping up, they're going to be meeting a lot more. They're usually early though. I mean, you could give them a 7 a.m. and they'd all be there.
Then they could stay and play pickleball.
Yeah.
All right. Any old business anybody needs to go over?
Was there any progress on the slides? I'm sorry, the swings.
No.
I know you had reached out for bids and stuff.
The swings have been ordered.
Oh, they're ordered.
Yep,
Okay, so
yep.
as soon as
So
they're in-
we approved it one of the
Yep.
meetings, and I reached out to the company, and they're going to send us the invoice, and he's going to ship it to us as soon as they get it, and that'll go on this year's budget. The slide we still need to work something out to get it fixed.
Yeah, we need somebody with a backhoe apparently.
Highway department's willing to help.
When are they available? They'll do it Monday through
We
Friday.
just got to reach
You
out.
just gotta plan
Now,
it. with them.
he's usually pretty good. He'll even come on his own time and help out.
Moving forward, something I think we need to do also is consider putting water outside the building for people to wash their hands, and then also maybe a spigot over by the playground. So when you have to clean it, need I say more? That's something that we could work on next year. It's nothing would definitely attack it this year. All right, moving on. It's nothing non-public. There's nothing, so we could make a motion to adjourn.
One other I've been kind of thinking about it lately, is the impact fees that we have. We have about, I think, $95,000 ish in impact fees. I really want to start coming up with ideas on how we can use that money to do new projects in town. If anybody has any ideas, I think it would be good to start getting them on paper and start researching costs and stuff like that, so we can actually start, utilizing these. I was actually at Dara last week, and I was talking to a couple parents that said, hey, it would be really nice to have in town as a splash pad, so that's just like a example of, a possible use. But I think we need to really be thinking about how we can use them and use that up.
Yeah, I know that idea has been thrown around a lot. We should probably reach out to the town of Derry and see what the liability insurance looks like on it, because they put one in. And everyone's biggest thing is, what is the liability insurance for it? And so we may want to just reach out to them and see.
I could do that.
Yeah, splash pad, I think would be nice. Because we know we can use it if we want to expand tennis courts at Sawmill, or if we want to put in a volleyball court. So I would assume, does it have to go at Sawmill, or could we do it at Dara?
And the other thing I know, Mike, you had mentioned there was a phase 2 to the Sawmill project that never got built.
Right.
So maybe that's.
I'll see if I can dig it up.
Yeah.
With what was out there originally.
And maybe that's, something we put a playground and a splash pad there, if there's space or, whatever. So
And maybe in the plan room too.
Yeah. I think I have a copy of it somewhere in a stack of paper that I didn't throw out, thinking just in case. So get the dust off, it will be all set.
So if we decide as a commission that we want to go ahead with the splash pad or whatever it is, and we've looked into it, we know everything that we need to know. There's still someone in town who can say no to the use of those funds. I've
Yeah.
heard a lot of
So the board of
different input about what it can be, what it can't be. It's one person's opinion or how it's interpreted or how he wrote it
Correct.
up.
So there is a consultant that wrote up all the impacts
Okay.
for us, and it was, I guess, a very long process, took about a year and a half, because we never had structure before.
Mhm.
So within it, he's kind of the guru with it, but he's retiring this December. So we're trying to get all the knowledge we can out of him based off of it. Then after that, the fee structure is going to get restructured, and NRPC is going to take over for it. That's our planning commission out in Nashua.
Okay.
So that's where we stand on that. But the last say of using impact fees is the Board of Selectmen,
Mhm.
since we're
Okay.
the agent that can expel them. And the biggest fear that we have is we have to make sure that we're doing it right, because if not, if someone
Right.
challenges and we lose, then
Yeah.
the town has to pay it back.
So I don't know who this person is. I don't know his name or anything,
forget
but
his name,
just, when he wrote those up, are those guidelines for every town that uses impact fees? Or if a different person had that position, would the use of impact fees look different? Or is it something the town agreed upon?
Something the
with
town
them?
agreed, but they went out
Okay.
and hired, the planning board went out and hired this
Okay.
consultant to go do it. So most towns are somewhat close, but they can be different
Okay.
on how they're assessed and what they use them for. Like what's unique about Litchfield is most people will say the school district. In ours, it actually says what school gets what percentage of it.
Okay.
And it usually doesn't happen that way. It's usually district wide.
Okay.
And that was something they did differently because the way, I guess GMS was so old, they weren't going to repair it anymore. So they only
Right,
put it towards
okay.
LMS and they put it
Yeah,
towards Campbell.
Okay.
So there were some quirky things like that that went through the process.
And then a certain amount goes to recreation, a certain amount goes to conservation and. like this,
Conservation doesn't get it. Conservation's
Okay.
comes through
Land use.
land use,
Okay.
yeah, current use, land use, and so forth. Police get some, fire gets some, recreation gets it.
I just wasn't
School.
familiar with the whole
Yeah, there's
process
some
and
different-
the bigger
It's
picture.
very foreign to me. as
It's
well.
foreign to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I get explained to me, it changes the next time I get
Are
someone talks
groups
about it.
allowed to combine their funds to do a combined project, or is everything has to stay separate?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess if police and fire did something and joined like a building together or
Yeah.
something, then you probably could use
Okay.
police and fire together. But any other two, I mean, what else would you use?
Yeah.
Because conservation is really not an
Not-
impact.
Right.
Now, is it something that, I assume when he wrote it, it was, things have changed drastically since then.
Mhm.
Is this something that should be every 5 years reviewed?
They're going back and looking at it right now. So as he retires, NRPC is going to take over and redo the whole structure and how we're doing it. So it's going to be a conversation coming up. It's going to be part of the capital improvement and part of planning board.
And is there a document somewhere that exists that outlines all this stuff?
I'm sure there is. I'll see if I can dig it up for you. Send it to
I'd just
everybody.
be curious
So-
to read it.
What are some of the things we've done? And is the bike path was part of that or no?
The
That was a
only
different-
the only one I know from a rec standpoint that impact fees were used on were Sawmill
Okay,
and Jeff Lane. Are the only two projects that I know of.
okay.
It could have been bike path, could have been part of it. I don't know at the time.
Or
I've
that
only
might
been
have
in
been a
town for
grant or
14 years.
something. Okay,
When was this written? Was it 2014?
I don't know when when it was done. It was a while ago.
Trying to figure out how long Mike's been on the board.
I haven't been that, well, 6 years, almost.
and if the money doesn't get used by, has to be used by a certain date?
Certain date
Certain
it goes back to the developer.
Back into his pocket.
Correct.
So
It behooves
gotta
us
be
to
tons
use
of
them.
ideas we can come up with, but yeah, we just have to.
Yeah.
I guess like you said, the document, I don't even know how much of it I'll understand. If it's, you know,
Same, but it may take some
Yeah.
of the mystery out of
But I hate
impact
to
fees.
lose the money because we don't know
Agreed.
what we can and can't.
And then there's the fear of if you use it the wrong way, then you're going to pay it
Right.
back. So it's,
So that's why we always
Yeah.
go back to the man who wrote it to vet it out.
Okay,
That's kind of why we use him as a sounding board.
can we as he exits, can we kind of?
Has anybody challenged it to date? Any developer of the schools?
I do
or
not know of
fire
any
and-
anyone that has challenged it
Okay.
thus far.
And I will say, usually from my experience and how they've been used around town, we're pretty conservative about giving it out and making sure that the projects meet whatever standards we've already set. So we're probably making sure on the back end, we aren't getting challenged, because I think our standards are very tight before anything's approved.
Because if you have to take $100,000 hit when you have a
Right.
tax cap of
Yeah.
$175,000, I mean, where are you going to go find the money?
But I'm glad you brought that up.
Then it's also, where can it be used? Like, can it only be used at Sawmill and expansion there? Not at Roy? Well, because the last thing we need is more parks. And then we can't afford to maintain
Maintain
those
those,
parks
mhm.
going forward. All right. Any other business? All right. Accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now we've got 6-0. 6-0, she abstained.
No. I was just stretching.
I know. All right, thank you.